As the situation in Gaza continues to get worse, there is now video of right-wing Israeli activists attacking an aid truck that was being sent to deliver aid and food to starving people in Gaza, many of which, of course, are women and children. Now, before I get to the clip here, Gaza is experiencing a full-blown famine. That's according to the World Food Program. Quote, what I can explain to you is that there is famine, full-blown famine in the north, and it's moving its way south. And that's from Cindy McCain, the World Food Program Executive Director. This in a time when Israel is directly flouting world court orders. So what these activists that are doing in the video that I'll get to, they're just right in line with the actual policy of the Israeli government. Israel is completely violating the International Court of Justice's legally binding orders by obstructing entry of life-saving aid and services into Gaza. So Israeli authorities are closing several crossings, blocking the aid from entering, and only a small portion of the limited aid has been reaching northern Gaza, where things are dire. Here is the first video I'm going to show you. This is from Barak Ravid. He is a journalist for Axios, writing here, right-wing activists today blocked the aid trucks to Gaza. I find this incredibly hard to watch because you are witnessing just the absolute depravity that some people are able to bring themselves to. Imagine destroying aid that is being sent to help starving people. Imagine thinking you're doing a noble thing here. It is just, I have witnessed, whether it's from propaganda, whether it's from governments, whether it's from politicians, media, just the lowest of the low over the past 6 months. It has been both depressing and incredibly infuriating to see how fucking disgusting some people are. And their reasoning for this, by the way, I'm going to get to it in a bit because I want to discuss that part a bit more. But their reasoning is completely absurd. Before I get there, I want to get to Bernie Sanders here. He's discussing the situation going on in Gaza.
Any objective observer knows Israel has broken international law. It has broken American law. And in my view, Israel should not be receiving another nickel in U.S. military aid. We're talking about 60% of the housing in Gaza having been destroyed. The civilian infrastructure, that's water. That is raw sewage now running out into the streets, no electricity. You are talking about a systematic destruction of the healthcare system there. Every university in Gaza has been bombed. And right now, most frighteningly, according to the humanitarian organizations, we are looking at the likelihood of hundreds of thousands of children facing starvation. The Foreign Assistance Act is very, very clear. 6201, the provision. Any entity, any state, any country that blocks U.S. humanitarian aid is in violation of law and should not continue to receive military aid from the United States. That is precisely what Israel has done.
Yet, Israel continues to receive aid from the U.S. government. I'm going to get to another clip here and then discuss their reasoning for doing this. So here is another video.
תראו, חבר'ה פה, לא מפחדים, בחורות, בחורים, איזה יופי, נותנים את המשאיות של החמאס, מקסימם, איזה יופי.
Laughing as they're destroying this aid being sent to starving people. But this noble group, this is what they Oh, sorry. Before I get to what their reasoning is, here's another example of protesters blocking delivery of aid to Gaza. So this is from February. As I said, there are many examples of this. You can look this up. Look up blocking aid to Gaza, protesters blocking aid to Gaza. You'll find many examples of this happening. But this is their reasoning. So this is the activist group that is doing this. They're seeking to halt transfers of humanitarian supplies into Gaza as long as Israelis are held hostage there. This gets to the heart of one of the big propaganda pieces of the past 6 months. This idea that it's leadership in Gaza they're the ones blocking a ceasefire. They're the ones not are blocking the ability to send these hostages back. No, it's Netanyahu. He blocked another deal that was on the table just this week. This is, by the way, this analysis here is from Haaretz. This is an Israel-based newspaper criticizing their government for the obvious sabotaging here in the attempt to try and get these hostages back. Netanyahu hoped Hamas would reject the ceasefire offer. When it didn't, he turned to sabotage. Israel's criminal defendant prime minister, more focused on saving his incompetent far-right government than saving the hostages, who have spent 7 months trapped in Gaza, is doing everything he can to torpedo Israel's last and best chance at bringing the hostages home. Another example of him doing that. This is from February. Israeli PM Netanyahu rejects proposed ceasefire and hostage deal. You can go back to November. Netanyahu rejected ceasefire for hostages deal in Gaza. November 9th. This is the barrier to progress. The Israeli government is the barrier to the hostages coming. If you don't care about, if you are a depraved, disgusting individual and you don't care about starving people in Gaza, all you care about are the hostages, this is your enemy. This is the man blocking the hostages from coming home. The families of the hostages have protested him. For any so-called activist group to use the guise of the hostages to destroy aid going to Gaza it's not only disgusting, it's inaccurate. Their stated goal is inaccurate. Last thing here, I just want to share the many examples of other U.S. governments doing what they can to use their power against an Israeli government that has been out of line quite a few times. So Eisenhower, he temporarily delayed $26 million in funding to Israel over the construction of a hydroelectric project in on the Jordan River. Reagan indefinitely delayed 2 shipments of F-16 fighter jets over the escalating level of violence, saying that Israel had violated its arms agreement by using American-made weapons during its invasion of Lebanon, saying, quote, while these forces are in the position of occupying another country that now has asked them to leave, we are forbidden by law to release those planes. George W. Bush, another Republican, threatened to withhold the delivery of $10 billion in loan guarantees to Israel if it continued building settlements in the occupied West Bank and Gaza. You had Republican presidents withholding aid, or in this case, loans, over settlements, which now are more common than ever. Like, we aren't even talking about settlements here. Forget, the apartheid. We were talking about just genocide. During a genocide, the U.S. government isn't even doing this. It's becoming increasingly tougher to know what to say, because we have just seen this depravity, for lack of a better term here. Keep using depravity. Just this disgusting display of what those in power are doing and allowing to happen, that I am running out of shit to say. It is, as I said earlier, it is both depressing and infuriating to see what is going on and know that the people currently in power, regardless of where it is, whether it's Israel, whether it's the US, its allies, are completely not even just unwilling to stop it, but are helping it happen.